In this video, you will be learning how you can use ChatGPT as a data scientist. What are the different strategies and techniques that you can apply in your real work environment? For this, we will be diving deep into a full machine learning model, meaning we will start the entire process starting from exploratory data analysis, feature selection, model evaluation, and model prediction. This video is also part of my full ChatGPT masterclass, a link also in the description. In this video, we will be only using the free version of ChatGPT. In another version, we will be using the paid subscription, which is allowing us to use the advanced data analysis feature. So let's dive right in. Let's now have a look at a very practical use case. And in this use case, we would like to get started with setting up a machine learning model from start to end. So we want to go through the entire workflow and see how this works in practice and how we can leverage ChatGPT in the best possible way. In this case, we are doing this on a data set where we want to predict students' dropout and academic success. So this dataset I have already downloaded. This is just some dataset where we have this target variable. So either this is a dropout, graduate, or enrolled. These are the three values. And also we have some information that we can use, some features to predict this target value. This is our goal. And now, of course, we would like to get started with this. I've already downloaded this file. You can find it also in the resources in this lecture. And now, as a first step, we want to just prompt ChatGPT with our problem. We want to give it some context. So I'm saying, I want to create a machine learning model. Please suggest simple steps on how to approach this. And then I give some context. This is just what I have found here on this page where we can give some context. And then additionally, I've also specified the file path. Of course, in your case, you need to change this to your file path where this file that you have downloaded is located. And now we just want to ask, give us some explanation on the data set and how we can create this prediction model to predict if an applicant is good or bad. Of course, in your case, you should also replace this file path with your file path where you have downloaded this file. And then we also have the target variable already specified. This is the column target. Let's now get started just with this prompt. And we can see we get a few steps suggested. And then we would like to just get started, in this case, with step 1. And be aware, we are not going through every individual step in incredible detail, but we will see how this process works and how we can get this going to set up a very good model. So I'm saying let's start with step 1. So in this step 1, we see we have some exploring of the data. And therefore, we will just copy this. We will use those Jupyter notebooks to interactively execute our Python code. So if you want to follow along and you want to also set this up, you can just first of all go to download Python. So just python.org/downloads. In here you can download the installation file for Python. Just run it and go through the installation. And afterwards we can also set up Jupyter notebooks. To do this, you can just open your command line. So just go to your Windows search and search for CMD. You can open this as administrator. And afterwards in here, you can use the command pip install Jupyter. So once you have done this, you will have Jupyter installed and you can run those notebooks. So to do this, you can now just use the command Jupyter notebook. In my case, I get this error message, Jupyter is not recognized as internal or external command. This may be due to the reason of not having the path to Python and pip in my user's path environment variable. So this can be the case. We can alternatively also use the command python-m notebook, and then this should work anyways. So then these notebooks should open up. And now we can use our code. We will just copy this and we will paste it. Let's go to our Jupyter notebook and I want to just create a new Python 3 file. And in this case, I can also name it. We can say this is prediction model, just that we know what we are doing. And I'm going to paste in this code. And now I will execute it. and I will just get some statistics about this. And in here, very importantly, I see also the columns. And it's very useful to give this information back to ChatGPT so that this is known and the code can be adjusted to those columns. So I'm saying these are the columns. Please remember them. And in this case, we get again some adjusted code, so we can already see that something will be done. So in this case, we see that the target variable needs to be converted to numerical. We have 0, no dropout, and this is actually not what we want. So therefore, we would like to give also the information, because we know we have not only those 2 values in the target variable, but we have 3 different values. Therefore, let's give this information to ChatGPT. We have 3 values. So I said we have 3 values in the target column: dropout, graduate, and enrolled. Because I have seen there's already something not as it should be, because we have more than just those 2 values. And this shows that it's still important to understand how this code works and how we should apply it and use it. So we should use it as an assistance mainly. And now if I see this has been hopefully adjusted, we can just quickly try if this works. So I'm just now directly copying this into a new cell. Let me quickly also run it. So we have no errors and therefore it looks quite okay. And now in the next step, what is the next step? We can see we have done a little bit of data pre-processing. We have also actually split already the data into different data sets. So now what we could do is we could go ahead and say we want to select some features and a model. So let's say select features and a model. But in this case, I would say, actually, I would prefer to start with a feature selection. So I'm saying, let's start with the feature selection. This should be first before we choose our model. So we have some correlation analysis and then some feature importance from random forest. Let's see how those 2 work. I will just go ahead and copy this code again. I'm going to paste it, and of course I will run it. And I will get now this correlation heat map where I can just see how some of the features correlate and also how those features correlate. More interesting to me, so I would say this is more optional, is the next one where we want to get a list now of the most important features. So in this case, we should get those features directly, and this is why we also would like to apply this second step. So now let's paste it also into the cell and also apply this one. And I see this has not worked. So I get this error message, which I can also again just copy and see if we can find a quick solution to this. So this is sometimes a bit annoying, but therefore we need to use it. So we see this has to be installed first, and this can be done just like this. So we will just adjust our code very simply by just adding actually some additional install instructions. So let's see if this works better now. And we see indeed that now this works. So in here, this is super interesting because now we see these are the most important features and use them in our model. We have done some exploratory analysis very, very briefly, and we have found out that there are some of the most important features. And I want to say, please return the most important features. So I will also copy this and paste it again into a new cell. And let's see what are the top most important features. So these are the top most important features, and the benefit of this is we can now just copy them like this, and then I can just paste them in here and say, please set up a model with those most important features. Please set up a model So I'm just going to copy this and I will now use this prompt. I have pasted this in here and I have already removed the part that we don't need. So we have here those 5 most important columns. We can also use more columns, but I will go with those 5. And I say, please find a model with these most important features and select the best model. So in here we have 4 models that are suggested that we can use to evaluate them. And we will use those selected features. This is also defined. And additionally, we will now here train this model and then we will make the predictions based on the test data. And afterwards, we will just evaluate the results so that we can find the best model. This looks pretty good. Let's just go ahead, copy this code, and then we will again execute it. And the best model has been found in here with an accuracy of 0.71 about, and we get also this classification report. In this case, it is not bad, but we could also see if there are more models because I've already tested this before. And I know that actually in this case, neural networks are giving even a little bit of a better performance. So let's try this and see if we can find a better model. And we get, of course, now some suggestions on what we can do, which we will do afterwards, but I want to now just try more models. And in this case, I will get a few suggestions. For example, I might be interested in the decision tree. So let's quickly have a look at this decision tree. Actually, everything is included in this one, so we can directly copy all of the code and see if we get some better models like this. And we can see in this case, we get some accuracies that are actually all lower. So therefore, let's decide to go with this support vector machine model because the accuracy is in this case the best one. Of course, if we would have added more features, we could have gotten a better result, and also maybe another model would have been better. This is why we also should explore different features and select maybe more or less features. In our case, we could now go ahead and now also hyper tune these parameters. So as we have mentioned, we can see there are different techniques like choosing different features and just hyper tuning also our parameters. This is something that we can also do. And therefore, we would like to now get started with the next step. Please use the support vector machine model and hyper tune it to optimize the accuracy. So in this case, we get the new code, and we can see in this case, this will do some grid search, which can take some while. So therefore, let's see if we can get this in a good way. So let's copy it and paste it also into a new cell and have a look at now if we can get this going in a good way. So this will probably now take a while. So you will also see this star, and this means just this grid search takes some while until it's performed, because this is parameter hypertuning and this may take a little while. So therefore, let's be back when this is done. Alternatively, we could also say, let's use something that is faster than grid search, because grid search usually takes a while. And then we could also see if this would be a little bit faster. And in this case, we have used a specific method, which is randomized search. And this is not systematic, step by step, every individual grid, but it is faster because it's randomized. And there are a lot of papers that have proven that this is faster than the standard grid search. So let's just also go ahead and copy this code. And actually, we can try to stop this and see if we can get better results with this. I have stopped this. This has taken a while. And now I will just run this second one. And hopefully this will be a bit faster. And after a while, we get this report back. Of course, what we can do is now in the next step, train also the other models and play around with the other models as well and with the features. And of course, as a last step, also we could train the model with all data, not with the split data. But in this case, I think this was already a quite comprehensive demonstration and showing hopefully how we can use ChatGPT also for machine learning and data science.